Welcome to Write Now Workshop Podcast, where you can write a book and change the world. I'm your host, Kitty Bucholtz, and this is episode 286, Planning for a Short Time, an encouraging words episode coming to you on Sunday, April 17th, 2022. Happy Easter! If you celebrate Easter, I hope you are having a beautiful, wonderful day, maybe eating some cool stuff, maybe listening to a great message, maybe spending time with your family, possibly over consuming sugar. Whatever you're doing, I hope that you are having fun, maybe even just relaxing or taking a beautiful walk. Happy spring. If it's spring where you are, maybe it's finally good weather and you can take a nice walk outside. Fingers crossed that what seems like spring is actually here to stay in Malmö, Sweden. And if it is autumn where you are, happy autumn. Hopefully the worst of the summer heat is over, or you're enjoying the last days of it if you really like it. So I hope that you are having a wonderful April. Now, here's the thing. April is the first month of the second quarter. So we're already in the second quarter of the year. There are moments when that just freaks me out because I'm thinking, but I don't know that I've accomplished anything. So here's what I did the other day, and I'm telling you because I think that it will really make you feel much more calm and possibly get more done. Okay, so regardless of whether or not you created a goal list for the whole year, let's just say today you open up the Notes app in your phone or something on your computer, or you get a piece of paper. Just write down the things that you want to get done between now and the end of June. That's the second quarter. So April, May, June. We're already halfway through April. So what would you like to get done between now and the end of June? Now, if you make a list that's super duper long, you might just ask yourself, can I get that done in 2.5 months? Maybe prioritize it, but this is the most important thing that I'd like to get done in the next 2.5 months, and then this, and then this. And then that way you don't have to necessarily delete anything from your list, but make sure that you're doing the most important things to you first so that they actually get done. So if one of your goals is, get to the next level on my video game, if that's your number one goal, put it on the top line. If it's just like a fun thing that you'd like to do, but you'd actually really like to finish the book that you're working on, maybe move the video game down and move the book up. So you don't even have to put numbers 1, 2, 3. You're just putting things in order. Now, because you have done this on something where you can write in between these items, so I was in Microsoft Word at the moment. Then I did a hard return in between each of the items on my list, and I started writing down the things that I would have to do to accomplish the goal. So for instance, I am still in the process of rebranding my books and taking out swear words or anything that would be offensive so that I can be Kitty Bucholtz, the clean book author. So when I say book, it's because some of it's romance, some of it's urban fantasy, and I just want all of it to be like, you can count on, if it says Kitty Bucholtz, there's no swear words. If you buy my book today, there is swear words. So wait, if you wanted it to be clean, I'm still in process, and it's been making me a little crazy. My goal for the last 2 years has been build my business. So, one goal with a whole lot of steps. That's been going great, but now there's some writing stuff that I am just dying to finish. So under rebrand my books, I actually had a whole bunch of lines underneath. I just hit the tab key and put each individual item on each line. So it was figure out how to re-upload the audiobooks now that I have the new files for the audiobooks. Make sure the interior of the ebook is complete and the front and back matter is updated. Make sure the interior of the print book is complete and the front and back matter is updated. Make sure I have the right size for the new book covers that I just got from the new cover designer. So you see what I mean? It was just one thing on each line. That way I can check them off when I'm done. Also, what happens is I can look at my list that had 6 items on it. And now under each item, if there are more than one step, if it's, what would be something that's only one step? I can't think of anything. Let's say I was only going to do one. Oh, here's, no, that's not one step either. Okay, I can't think of anything because of the way that I think everything, like this is what it would take to actually get this one thing done. But anyway, If you end up then with a really long list, you might be like, oh, that's why it seems like six things. I could get that done in 3 months. Oh, but these six things have like 42 steps. But if you have four things and it has 15 steps, it's like, yeah, all right, that's doable. That's like just a little bit more than one thing per week. I mean, probably you could get that done. So then you can just say, I'm done. And if you have been in business school or hear other people talking about business, this is also very similar to doing objectives and key results. OKRs. It's similar to the way that you are saying, these are my strategies and these are the tactics that I'm going to use to accomplish my strategies. But for you, if you're like, I need to get something done, it's just your list. That's it. And it's just for 3 months or possibly 2.5 months because it's already mid-April. You can just call this done. Now use your list and start working at the top and working your way down. Or you could also go a little bit further. And while you're doing this, like maybe in the middle, before, after, it just depends on how your brain is working, make another list. Things that I got done in the first quarter. What did you accomplish in January, February, March? Because if you're like me, like somebody asked you that question, and my very first thought is, I don't know, not much. But then when I start writing down what seems like 2 things, then I'm like, oh, actually 3 things. Oh, actually 4 things. Oh, and in this fourth thing, there was actually 3 things about it that all got done because like it's a 4-step process and I got 3 of the steps done. Well, okay then. So then you can start making yourself feel a little bit better about the fact that you are indeed accomplishing things, even if you feel like, but it takes me so long to do things because I have kids and or a job and or, my mind, heart, head, whatever isn't in it or whatever it is. So now you can look at that list and ask yourself, okay, so am I satisfied? Am I even happy with what I accomplished in the first quarter? Because if you make this list now while it's all still fresh in your mind, you might be thinking, oh, well, I see why, this is me. I see why it feels like I haven't gotten much accomplished in my writing life, but that's because I took a research trip that took 10 days and that was super fun. So it wasn't actually writing, but it was research to write a new book. And it was very, very exciting and fun. And I had a great time. And it was my birthday. I also spent what felt like bazillions of hours doing Swedish taxes. And this is taxes for the first time on my business. So I was super excited to also, at the very end of the process, find that my tax bill was much less than I anticipated. So I was like, yay, that made me happy. We had to do all of our immigration paperwork again. And even though John's company files the paperwork, we still have to gather everything together that they, give us a list of everything that they need. That was a lot of time. A lot of my time got taken up with that. But then I'm like, oh, okay, that's done. And now I don't have to do it for at least 2 years. So then I start going, oh, okay, well, I didn't finish my short story, which seems ridiculous. How did I not finish my short story in the first quarter of the year? That was a whole freaking 90 days long. But then I'm like, oh, I did get a lot of other things done that had to be done. Well, I mean, the trip didn't have to be done, but now I have like another book kind of in process. So you see what I mean? You start seeing that there is no reason to beat yourself up. Even if you're not happy per se, if you just do this check-in every couple of months, then you can start seeing that you are making progress. It may be different than what you expected, but then you can also make more not to acceptable lists. Like what's a good word for it? You can make lists for the next quarter that seem reasonable expectations, because now you know what sort of thing you can get done in 90 days, like about what you can accomplish. So then when you do this again in the end of June, beginning of July, you can be like, oh, okay, this is how much I accomplished in the last 2.5 months. And maybe it's not everything I wanted to, but here's a list. So therefore, based on this list, about how long should my other list be? And keep in mind that for the third quarter, a lot of people are taking a summer vacation. So, don't overdo yourself there. But these sorts of things will actually probably help you to, one, not be so overwhelmed. And that is why this is my encouraging words episode, because I don't want either of us to feel overwhelmed. I want us to feel happy and full of joy that this is our choice with what we do with our time and our our gifts and talents, and we love it, and I want us both to continue to love it. So, how much you got done, how much more you can get done, not being overwhelmed. And then probably what you may find is that your big list that you may or may not have made at the beginning of January for what you wanted to accomplish over the course of the whole year, even if you refer back to it frequently, you may find that when you break that list into quarters and refer back to it every 3 months, and then adjust in the next 3 months, the portion of the list that will be on the next 3 months, then you can start possibly seeing that you're actually getting more done because you're checking in with yourself more often, and hopefully giving yourself a atta girl, atta boy kind of encouragement, so that you can you just keep on filling yourself with more good feelings about what you're doing and what you're getting done, and that you are in fact getting done the things that you feel are most important to you right now. So that is my encouraging words episode for you. I hope that you follow my lead, and no matter what day of the year it is when you listen to this, just sit down, make a list from now until, I suppose if it's mid-June, you could go ahead and make the list for the third quarter. So the rest of June, July, August, September. Or if you work in some other different sort of calendar, then make it for a 2 to 4 month period that works in the lifestyle that you have. Maybe if you're a school teacher and you have certain periods that are your off time versus your on time, you might want to break it up into 2 semesters plus summer or something like that. Or if you're a student. Anyway, I want to encourage you, no matter when you're listening, sit down and do this very simple. Just write down the things that you can do in the next couple of months, and then write down the steps that it'll take to do those things. And then you have a list that then you can check off. I don't know if you're like me. I love checking things off. It makes me feel like I actually accomplished. But also keep track of what you did do in the last 3 months, so that if you weren't keeping track, you weren't checking things off of a list, you can look back and say, I actually got more done than I thought, or maybe I spent too much time on Netflix and I could get more done this quarter. So there it is. That's what I'm going to be doing the next few months, and I hope that you will join me. Have a very wonderful day, weekend, holiday, season of the year, wherever you are, and very, very happy writing.